All right, so we have watched all 5 episodes of Love is Blind. Rather than doing them all one episode at a time, we're going to do first 5 episodes.
Exactly.
So, listen, this is the Conversations with the Crawleys channel. We do conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries of shows, especially those centered around relationships, family, those type of things. This one is all about Love is Blind, Season 4. And this one seems interesting already.
Boy.
So if this is content that you enjoy, you know what to do right now. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications, and share. Mm-hmm. And we'll see you in the comments. Consider becoming a member and checking out the merch store. Yeah, we just watched all 5 seasons, 5 episodes.
You keep saying season.
Listen,
it's a Netflix show. So, but it just seems to drag a tad bit. It's like it's long, but I get it. They have to try to get all this information in.
And because they drop them 5 episodes at a time.
Mm-hmm. You're just like, oh my God, like cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You need to binge.
So if you're watching this is kind of like the abbreviated version.
Abbreviated.
We're not going to go through every date that they had.
No. Because they do start to slow down and they have like a top 2.
Right.
We say top 2.
Right.
Because the premise is it's like speed dating on steroids, because they stay in a certain area. Men stay in one quarters, women stay in other quarters. And my understanding is like they date for like 10 hours at a time, talking to all these people until they can like find this emotional
who they're connecting with.
Emotional connection, because they can't see one another.
Right.
They only know by their voice.
Right. Because you see lots of folks like in the quarters area, but we only get to know like 6 or 7 of them on each side.
Correct, because they're trying to narrow down probably the ones that have the biggest connections.
Yep.
In
and
the
ones that will actually move forward.
Correct.
In the relationship.
Now you see some quirky scenes where some odd people come up, like the guy
Billy,
who only likes leopard style or leopard print
he's like,
clothing.
So you Korean? Are you Asian? Are you Chinese? Are you Japanese?
Remember, there was a guy who was kind of like that, and last season.
And then the guy who fake cried last season too.
Yes.
So, as far as kind of like just as they start moving towards the couple, so there by this time with the 5th episode, we have the 5 couples that at least are there. Of note, as far as how they are starting to come together, Kwame. Who is former soccer player. He's a software sales business developer. And he's got 2 that he's kind of feeling. Micah and Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. He chooses Chelsea.
He eventually chooses Chelsea, but he he really has a stronger connection initially with Micah. And he's like, hey, I think we can move forward. And she's like, pump your brakes. I think we need to take it a little slow. Let's kind of see how things are.
No. Because you forget he was talking to Chelsea. He tells Micah, me and Chelsea are getting to this high level.
Yes.
He said, we're getting to this high level.
I'm sorry, that was the first season, so I can't remember that far back.
You told me you wanted me to lead.
Go ahead, lead it.
So, to this high level. And then that's when Micah was like, oh, but I thought we were connected. I thought we were connected.
That's right.
And he was like, well, you're not affirming me that I'm your one. And so if you're not giving me that affirmation that I'm your one, and Chelsea is, I think I should lean someone who's showing a lot more interest.
Right.
And then she kind of puts on this thing that she's showing interest. And he was like, oh, okay, so you are feeling me? Mm-hmm. And so then he makes this decision to decide to try to move forward with her. And she's like, well, I want to really explore this slow burn, as she call it.
Right.
And who was it though?
Because by the time she starts having that conversation with Kwame, she's also having a conversation with Paul.
That's right.
And Paul is like, yeah, I think, what if we were together? What if we just go ahead and make this official right now? Why don't you tell your person, you done, I'll tell my person, I'm done, and we'll move forward.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, you really weren't feeling him. And now you set him up. And then when he pulls the trigger, then all of a sudden you backing up.
Right.
Okay.
So Kwame then goes to his second choice, which really was his first choice that he kind of got finagled out of by Micah, but he came back to her. So he circled back around.
He circled back around
to Chelsea. But
they had a couple more dates.
Yes.
Now, if I was Chelsea and I heard that you were devastated because the breakup between you and Micah, I'd be like, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I know I like you and everything, but you didn't choose me.
Right.
So I'm going to move on because I don't want to be someone else's second choice. And I know we talked about this in previous seasons, like, well, you never know. What if they dated separately and they didn't know they were dating and you wouldn't really be somebody's second choice? I can't get over it. Yeah. It bothers me because if that person comes up, like we'll talk about a little bit later, and there's still feelings there,
then that's a problem.
Right. Because there's no break in between. Right. So to me, emotionally, you hadn't had a chance to heal or get over a person. So it's hard for you to say you're just easily moving on.
Right.
Can I just put it that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when the other thing though of note was when Micah did break up with Kwame. Kwame was like, he went straight into business mode. Well, listen, I appreciate your business. Appreciate having the opportunity to kind of present myself to you. And, you have a great rest of your life. I'm just going to go ahead and exit out this door.
Okay. When he got rejected, he was just like, let me just make this business. And sometimes, and she felt odd and awkward because, when you have to tell someone you're not interested. But to me, if you really cared about the person, I was like, hold on, Kwame.
Right.
I think it's important for us to have this closure.
Right.
Because if we do both end up with someone else and see each other again, to me, I'd be like, I don't want to have any conversations.
Exactly.
I don't want to have any conversations of, what do you think about me? Should we work out? I'd be like, no. That's why I said no. So I think just getting over the rejection and just having the conversation of what happened, why you decided someone different is important, and get it over with.
And then when Kwame goes back to the men's quarters, I thought he was about to swing.
I thought he was really upset.
He was upset.
He had to get a shot. He was drinking. And when you're angry or upset or confused, when you have a lot of emotions, I don't think that's the best time to drink, especially if you don't know how you're going to react, you know. Because I know Brett was looking like, I'm just keeping my eye out.
He was like, if I need to hold you back, I got you. Because Paul had come back from his conversation, all kind of upset that he had to break up with his person in favor of Micah. So he comes back talking about, sometimes you might be the villain. And Kwame's like, yeah, you the villain in my story right now. So Kwame and Micah are together. Kwame and Chelsea are together. Micah and Paul are together.
Right. Okay. So, Micah had Amber, the flight attendant, which is it Micah?
You mean Paul?
No, Paul has, my bad.
He had Amber, the flight
attendant, as his second choice.
Yes.
And so, I thought that she was a better choice. He said mentally, I think, intellectually.
He loved the way she thought, yeah.
Yes, and I thought and all that. But he went with Micah.
Okay.
All right. And Micah has a twin in the pods, and that's Irina. And people call him freaking Frat.
because Irina they're mean girls. Let's just put it this way. They're mean girls.
They are.
And Micah is okay by herself, but the moment Irina is around, the mean girl in Micah starts to come out heavily.
And what we're saying by mean girls is like, you see other girls obviously upset because they have these connections and they're getting emotional and they're busting out laughing or making comments about the other young ladies that are in the quarters with them.
Yeah.
And so that's what we say when we're saying they're mean girls. Is like,
perfect example is when Paul broke up with Amber. Amber came back upset, crying, what have you. She pulled one of her friends aside and starts talking. And Micah sends Irina to go and listen, and she's like, "Is she laughing? Is she crying? Ha 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 ha!" And they're making a game out of
someone else's
feelings, basically.
So that's why we're indicating that they're mean girls.
Yeah.
So then we have Tiffany and Brett.
Right.
And
so Brett they're about the same age. They're 35 and 36.
Yeah, they're only a year apart. He's like a shoe executive, I think, for Nike. Yes.
And she's a talent recruiter. So, and they seem to be a good fit.
Yeah, they seem to be a good fit. You know, he on his side, he indicates they didn't show a lot of emotions or tell each other that they loved each other and stuff. So he really opens up to her about his family, how they lived as you know, children, and the loss of his older brother.
Right.
And so they tend to get close. And right at the end, she was expressing her love for him, and he started to do the same thing. And she passes out. She falls asleep on him, and so he's calling out her name over and over again.
She hit that tequila a little too hard because she was passed out.
And he felt so rejected. You can see his face. He's like, I can't believe this. So he gets up and leaves just like mad. He's like, I don't even talk to her no more. I'm trying to open up to her.
He's like, I'm done.
Trust her. I'm never going to see her again. And I don't know how long she was asleep, but two of her friends out of the ladies' quarters had to come into the pod and wake her up. Like, they got her on camera snoring.
Listen.
Snoring on camera.
And then they wake her up and they start singing. I forgot what song they were singing.
She wasn't waking up. Like, they were calling her name. This girl, when she knocked out, she knocked out. And they were like tapping her. They didn't want to, like, you know, startle her. And so they were like tapping. And then they had to start singing to her. And then when she jumped up, like, I was like, was she still asleep? Because it was so crazy. This chick was out.
I see the light. I see the light.
I was like, what is going on?
Name what movie that's from.
So,
all right.
So they meet back up. And so he does come back. And she's apologizing. And I'm thinking, he's about to tell her off. I said, she need to grovel some more. Like, she need to be, I'm so sorry. I was asleep. You can ask anybody. I was asleep.
But he was like, look, it's going to be part of our story. It'll be a funny portion of our story.
Yes.
So they were good.
So they were good. Nothing, I mean, there's nothing big or major at this point that we're seeing. Not in the first 5 episodes.
5 seasons.
So.
Well, yeah. Marshall and Jackie is the other couple. And Jackie, well, we saw more Marshall with Jackie.
Yeah, but Jackie had her and
Josh was the other connection that she had.
Yes, and she talks about how Marshall was more emotional and what she needed, and Josh came off more masculine to her, and that's kind of her
more
type.
What her style has been.
Her type. So, but at the end, she knew she had to pick Marshall.
Yeah, because Jackie told Marshall about, I guess, Josh had made a statement that, you know, I know you're getting close, but I'm just going to pack up because I can't deal with this. I'm going to pack up and leave. And Marshall's like, oh, you going to play games like that? So Marshall came back into the men's quarters looking like he was about to fight too.
Well, he didn't know. That's the thing. Surprisingly, she never showed.
That's true.
She never shared
who the other person
was. So he was like,
who is it? Who? Which one of y'all up in here?
And Brett seemed to calm him because everybody come to Brett, right?
Yes.
So he's like, man.
Because Brett's securing his. He's like, look, man, I got my game. I'm good. My prize. I'm good.
He's like, man, one of these jokers up in here.
And Josh like, you talking about me?
Well, I don't know. Am I talking about you?
Yeah.
Are you the one that said that? And he was like, well, you know, because I would have asked him, is your stuff packed? Because you are about to leave without her. Is your stuff packed?
In fact, let me help you.
Because he did. Marshall said,
don't forget your toothbrush.
He was cussing. Marshall was cussing. He was like, you want to see grown man? I'll show you grown man. You want to know my masculinity come out?
Mhm.
My masculinity will come out.
Yes.
And so, he was upset too. I was like, okay, there's going to be another fight because it looked like he was going to start scrapping.
Listen.
And you know what? Jacqueline did pick him, or he calls her Jackie.
Yes.
So they did end up together.
And then the last couple is Irina, Mean Girl Part 2,
Mm-hmm.
and Zach. Now, Zach was stuck between Irina and Bliss.
Bliss. Right.
And, for example, like one portion was his birthday, I guess, happened while they were in the pods.
Mm-hmm.
And Bliss was like making cake, cupcakes for him. She's like, I'm going to treat him nice for his birthday, da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
Irina's like, oh, yeah, it is his birthday. Hey, Bliss, can I borrow one of your candles? Now, if you didn't think enough of that man for his birthday, why are you going to take from the person who is on the other side vying for his attention?
Yes.
Why are you going to take her candle and then pretend like you? And then so when she gets in there, she's like, oh, I wish your room was filled with balloons and everything because, I just hope you have a great birthday. Oh, and just to be honest with you, I forgot about your birthday.
And he was like, that's okay. It's fine, whatever. But Bliss kind of like, no, I'm not giving you a candle. Mm-hmm. I just don't think I'm doing something right now for him. So pretty much just back off.
Right. Leave me alone.
Because I don't like you.
Go to your corner.
I don't like you. So you just need to move out of my way.
Yeah.
You're in the way. And so, Bliss is being there and being mindful. And I feel like I thought they had a good connection here. Mm-hmm. But whatever. Irina puts the mojo on him, saying that, how she feels and that he needs to go ahead and make a decision. Okay, man. Can I help the men out?
Help the men out. Well, help Zach out because I don't know.
Help the men out. Because when someone's pressuring you to make choices quickly, that should be a sign. Like, okay, why all of a sudden now you're in a hurry for me to make a decision and it has to be you?
Right.
Okay. And then why don't you add up all the qualities that someone is talking to you and really sharing their heart and being honest, and then someone who is playing coy? Because I think there's the difference in being infatuated, get your head out of the clouds, so you can make rational decisions. Because you are emotional. You're in here, you're meeting so many people, and you can emotionally get connected before you physically can get connected.
Right.
But that's why they give you the book. So you can write down pointers.
Take notes.
What's a red flag? What's not a red flag? And really decipher. Because no one couldn't discern. It had no discernment.
Well, here's the other thing also is that pay attention to what people say. Now, granted, you can't believe everything that everybody says, right?
Their actions,
but
they have.
Bliss was giving you some information, and Bliss, he was like, you know what? Bliss used the King Solomon approach, in my opinion, because she was like, look, I'd rather not hurt you more, so let me go ahead and try and make amends with her, so that me and Irina, we don't have beef. You can make a decision and not feel like you're stuck in the middle. So I'm gonna put on my big girl pants and go talk to this child and see if we can rectify things. So that to me would have been like, Zach, pay attention, bruh. Pay attention to who's acting mature in this situation. Pay attention who's to what they're saying, not just what they're saying, but the consistency of what they're saying. Pay attention to those things, and also pay attention to what other people are saying about the people that you're connecting with, because those are going to give you clues. You can't see her. You're not on the other side, but you can pay attention to what clues are being given to you.
And for him to be a criminal defense attorney, he could not discern.
He losing cases left and right.
Oh my God. Because I'm just like, if anything, you should be a good listener, right? To what the person's saying, so you know how to rebuttal, how to be sweet. But it's like when you got
to look for holes in the prosecution's argument.
Right. Exactly. And so anyone who needs confirmation in their own character, like, I have to keep reaffirming your character.
Yeah.
Either you are who you are or you're not.
Yep.
And if anyone has to ever tell me they're a good person, and there's been some shows where someone had to repeat over and over that they're a good person, but they never do good things, that should tell you something.
Yeah.
But he learned quick.
Yeah. So those are the 5 couples.
Those are the 5 couples.
When Tiffany and Brad met,
stars,
it was
kissing,
it was
all over. Good job.
Excellent there. When Marshall and Jackie met,
stars,
excellent,
kissing,
awesome.
Good job.
When Kwame met Chelsea,
stars, all over each other. And I know we didn't mention this, but we talked about this while we were watching this. Because anytime they're, to me, interracial couples, and especially since they didn't get a chance to see each other,
right,
and for them to come together and to see just being authentic, right? So I could tell that Chelsea was just really authentic, and that she's like, this is my person.
Yep.
I love him. I love how he looks. And you saw no guard up.
No pulling back.
No pulling back. You just see her just connecting.
Embracing and connecting. Yep.
Right.
And same thing on Kwame's side.
Right. Same thing on Kwame's side.
They're both good there.
Both good there.
Paul and Micah,
again, they did kiss. I wouldn't say there were sparks, but I think they were at least affectionate.
Right.
Right. Now,
Arena and Zach.
She
Hi.
said,
How you doing?
She turned her head when he tried to go on for a kiss.
She's like, no.
Almost broke her neck.
She's like, no, it's too much right now.
She almost broke her neck. And she said he looked like a cartoon.
Well, which one? I don't know.
I don't know.
You just look like a fictional character.
And he's like kind of like looking at her, right? Because they never saw each other. So you're trying to put the voice and the face together.
Right.
And she's like, you keep staring at me and your eyes are not blinking.
He's like, I'm blinking, but okay.
I'm not. He's like, I am blinking. He's like, no, you're staring at me like robotically.
So now, in her defense, yes, he was looking a little, he was staring a little much.
He was.
He was kind of like deer in the headlights type of thing, right?
Right.
So, but you would think this person that is your person, as far as part of this whole experiment, there'll be a little more than just, hey,
right,
you look like a fictional character, a cartoon character.
Right. And he didn't know how to take that, which I could understand, right?
Yeah.
Because supposedly, as they're doing, they're saying they're in love. I don't think they're in. I think it's a infatuation. That's
I think, and
pretty much
this bears out even more as we go along. I think she was just trying to stay on the show to get her a trip to Mexico.
I wouldn't put it past her.
Okay.
I wouldn't put it past her.
All right. So they do get to Mexico.
Yes.
Where the couples are kind of spending
time together,
kind of a pre-honeymoon type thing.
Yeah, getting to know each other. Because again, you've never seen each other until this moment.
Yeah.
So now you have to connect the physical with the emotional.
Yes.
So, they're trying to get on activities and they're talking and trying to share about how it's going to look like in the future.
Yep.
And we can start with Kwame and Chelsea because they're sitting down, and this is the first time in Love is Blind history where the man asks, he said, hey, would you have a problem with me talking to someone who's my previous connection?
Right.
Okay. I'm like, good job. High five.
Very mature of you, yes.
Very mature.
Because we've seen before where it was like they would just go talk and have the conversation. But he was at least like, look, I want to be concerned about your feelings. How do you feel about me going to have that conversation to get closure, to see, she's like, I'm good with it. Because it also, I think by this time, hadn't they consummated things already? They've already done the deal.
Yeah.
Right.
So at this point, she's feeling good and they're talking about it, right? They're communicating. Right. And she says, well, I am confident. So whatever you feel like you need to get resolved still, I don't have any problem with it, Now, where she could have probably gone a little deeper, I am going to say, there might need to be some boundaries. Like if you seem like you're in too deep, you might need to put a sign up.
Sit across the table from each other.
Right.
Keep
your hands off of her.
Yes.
And maybe no more hands.
Keep her hands off of you.
So She did say that she was confident,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that, yeah, if you need to do that, go ahead. And he's like, okay, I appreciate that. There's not going to be more than us just having that conversation, and we're going to be done.
And so they do have the conversation when all the couples come together, right? So they do have a conversation, an initial conversation, right? And we think, okay, it's done.
I was like, all right, we're good. Cool. Okay, he did
Move
well.
forward.
Okay, we're doing okay.
But then while everybody's still mingling at the pool, whatever, then freaking frack, the Bobbsey twins, Tweedledee, Tweedledum,
so that's Micah
and Irena.
So they get together, right? And so Chelsea said, hey, babe, can you go grab me something, blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah, let me finish talking to my friend. Because I think he was talking to Brad. He's like, let me talk to him. And then, babe, I got you, right? So then across the pool, then we got Irena saying, Kwame, can you get us some shots? And I was like, cool. He's like, no. So I was like, okay.
He's like, you can get yourself up off your floaty and go get it your own doggone self.
I said, okay.
You were like, go ahead.
Boundaries,
that's the
right? I was like, don't play like that and don't play with me. So then they come back again.
Because they are stirring up trouble.
They're trying to stir up drama.
Irena is trying to stir it up, right?
Drama about, so you have something about pre-proposal or something.
Yeah,
she rejected you.
Because they were trying to get shots. And so they went and got shots and brought them over to him. And basically, Micah was like, here's the failed proposals.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, we're doing that. Okay. So he got a little upset.
Right. And I thought he started off well because he's like, I'm not taking the shot. So he put the shot down. And he says, we're not doing this. You're not going to be saying that. You're not going to be handling that. And I think the reason why he was upset, because what he should have done was share with Chelsea. Like, he should have told Chelsea, like, I did.
He proposed. I was ready to propose. I had floated the idea of proposing, and she shot it down. So we were kind of waiting, but then she chose someone else. Because the more you can get out in the air, it doesn't have to seem like a secret or anything. Right. So I think he was a little hot because he really didn't be really open about his feelings that he had for Micah. You know, he kind of hold back some. And so that's what made him like, why are you trying to bring this out and trying to mess up my good thing I got going right now? Because you trying to mess that up, right? But it's just a ploy. Second thing, man. When you with the new girl, the old girl don't want you, but she's still trying to draw you in to make your new girl jealous and to mess your relationship up. Don't fall for the trap. Because Micah started batting them eyes.
Oh, you know, I didn't mean, and I didn't say, and I didn't know you were going to get mad. And he just sucking him in.
Like a succubus. All right.
Jeez, I just read that again tonight. And so, y'all want to look that word up?
I don't know what a succubus is.
And and he just you could just see him. He just so drawn in. And now they're having this conversation. And he keeps looking at her ring, holding her hand, looking at her ring.
And she touching his beard. His face. With, not a beard, but his face. And
right.
Everything.
And so Chelsea's over there like, oh. I think the inner black girl might come out.
Listen.
She's like, I think the inner black.
Chelsea like, look, I'm about to use my cookout pass.
Like Chelsea's like, okay, we already had the first conversation, which I approved of. I didn't approve of 2 conversations, and you gazing in her eyes, and now we go from being mad to kikiing. And then her side girls are like, do you want us? He's like, girl. She's like, I'll look back there for you, girl.
She was about to do like Jill Scott, take off the earrings, get her some Vaseline.
Oh my God.
Listen.
So Jackie and Tiffany were like, girl, you need to handle this. You need to get over there and handle this. We don't do this in the minorities. We don't do this.
This ain't what we do.
You gotta go get your man.
You are justified in going over there and handling business.
So she was like, I'm trying to eat. I'm trying not to look over there. She's like, I'm gonna finish this plate and I'm about to leave. And they're like, don't leave.
And she goes walking down the beach. She go down down to the next resort over.
Okay.
She's like, I'm done.
Ooh, boy.
She started trying to walk back to America.
She was hot. And I don't blame her, right?
No.
I was just like, now, I mean, you don't want to disrespect, your man, right? But at the same time, because they were also looking, so Tiffany and Jackie was like, where her man at?
Right, where's
Where her
Paul
man
at?
in the chat? Paul's dazing in her best friend's eyes. So he don't even care. He don't even care. And so they were like, girl, don't leave. But I was like, okay, I don't know, because I'd be like, I got to do something. I'd be like, hey, Kwame, hello. Woo woo. Hello. Somebody. Or maybe if I was calm enough, I'd be like, okay, Brad, can you... I would have another man because...
Right. I need you to go run interference
and tell your boy Kwame he's taking too long over there with Micah. Because as women, men don't want to seem like you trying to mother them, be disrespectful, make a scene where they seem embarrassed.
Right.
And I wouldn't want them to do that to endanger their relationship, even though Kwame has put himself in the wrong predicament. Right. So I think the best thing is to say, Brett, I need you to go.
But here's the thing, Brett was there for the beginning of the conversation. So Brett, and granted, they're not like lifelong friends. So if it had been like one of my boys who I've known for years in that type of situation,
that's why someone would have to.
As a good wingman, I'd be like, all right, bro, listen, hey, let's go over here. Let's go get some. Let's go talk
something. To the ladies. Right. Let's go talk to our ladies.
So, but for Brett, he doesn't necessarily have that responsibility or that connection with Kwame.
That's true. That's why
you would think though that he would be like, hey, bro.
Then Tiffany should have said, okay, don't leave.
Yes.
I'm going to tell Brett to go get him, and then y'all can leave together and have a conversation real quick. So, but that didn't happen.
No.
And we don't know how long, because she left. We don't know how long.
They were still kicking.
How long? I mean, like, he didn't see nobody else. Kwame didn't see anybody else. Everybody else disappeared, and they were in the pods again. I said, boy, you done messed up.
Other things that were happening around that same time, Irina, who has been giving Zach the cold shoulder like the entire time. She is more attracted to Paul, and we didn't see. Maybe we missed it, but we didn't see in the pods that they were a thing as far as Paul and
Paul.
Irina.
I think Paul's entertaining them, but I don't think Paul liked her like that. It's more of her getting something out of it than him. Right,
and she's attracted to Paul, not necessarily to Zach, and so she's having conversations with Paul. Right. And Paul's like, okay. Right. Other things, what's her name? Marshall and Jackie, they go into town.
Yeah, and they had they're eating at a restaurant, excursion went well. But then when they got back, she had like a full meltdown.
Because the way they were looking at first, it was like, okay, what did they fight about?
Right, you thought they had an argument.
What happened?
And I was like, they didn't seem like they were in an argument. But she was just talking about overthinking, and that when she get back, she has this family that she takes care of, and all these concerns of her running from him because obviously,
her messing it up in the future.
Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm here for you, babe. I'm here for you. So I'm like, okay, what's going on with her emotionally? Where's her mental state? Because she's really feel like it's like she's having a meltdown.
Yeah. And again, because they're only, a week and a half, 2 weeks in, he's like, I don't know how to support you. Right. But he's like, I'm trying to support you. So I appreciate that. He's asking questions.
He's asking, how can I support you?
He's trying to figure out how he can help her because...
Girlfriend was crying in the closet. She had, because at first she's like, no, I need a moment. She was in the bed, in the bathroom. He came out to the bar. Then she came out with him. And then she's talking to him. Then she starts crying again. Then she leaves there and goes into the walk-in closet. And she's sitting in there crying. He's on the outside. He's like, okay, how can I support you? Yeah. We're going to get through this together. I want to be be there for you, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so she opens up the closet, they're talking,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just holding her and she's crying. So we don't know what the strain on her was.
Right.
But the following day, she's like, I feel better. I really appreciate it and everything. And he's just say, stay in the moment.
Right.
You can't worry about the future. We're not there yet.
Right.
So just enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Trying to see who else. So that was Marshall and Jackie. Tiffany and Brad, again, they are just getting along well right now.
We got hands everywhere. We're enjoying our time together. And so far they seem like a good couple. Obviously they're saying, as things go along, once we get back and we get to know each other more.
And life,
we'll have some things, but other than that, they feel real comfortable with each other, and he feels really open, and that she's opening him up, and he's being vulnerable, and everything seems to be going well for them. So they're smitten. She's like, "You're my perfect person, perfect for me." So
and he feels the same way.
Feels the same way. So
now, the next day, Kwame and Chelsea, they go to like a forgiveness ceremony or something.
Some type of Mayan ceremony, and it does talk about forgiving the land and a lot of stuff, and them having chocolate or some chocolate, chocolate,
cocoa, whatever.
Right, and so they're sharing the cup, and they're supposed to look deep into each other's souls and stuff, and I guess it got them back on the same page.
Right.
They talk about it, and he apologized. He said, if I made you feel any kind of way, when I woke up this morning, I realized that what I did was wrong, and I apologize. And she says, I forgive you, but don't let it happen again.
Yep. So that night, though, because I guess it's the last night of everybody hanging out in Mexico.
Yes.
And Chelsea's like, I need to talk to the girl. Bring me the girl. I need to talk.
She didn't want to talk to her. Because it was which.
Did Micah say that she wanted to talk to her?
Yes.
Okay.
Micah was like, there's something strange between Kwame's kind of avoiding me.
That's right.
And then Chelsea seems to be doing too much. They're all over each other, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, I'm just going to go over there and talk.
That's right. Yep.
And I don't know. Another thing, when someone comes up to you and just starts asking questions, they just want to suck information out of you so they can use it against you later.
Yep.
So don't share everything, especially if you don't like somebody, you don't trust them. And the first thing, they don't come and say, hey, I want to just talk to you and just say what they need to say. They coming over you. So how's you and so-and-so's relationship? How's that going? None of your business. How can I help you?
It's going great. Leave it alone. Bye.
No. I don't even have to tell you. How can I help you? It's none of your business. I don't like you. So what's the problem? How can I help you? Oh, I want to just see if we're good. Oh, okay. So we can talk about me and you.
And no, we ain't good.
No, we're not good. Because Chelsea did start to say, she's like, I understand you had the conversation because me and Kwame talk about y'all having a conversation. But what was this extra conversation? Because I feel like what he should have did was shut it down, but he didn't. And right when she was about to share, that's when it started raining and storming.
Yeah.
So Chelsea says, that's how she did. Micah comes in and no one ever gets any closure. But she's like, I don't need any closure from her. Yeah. So everybody's like asking the question, like, what couples you think are going to make it to the end.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where they end.
So, and then they come back. What's her name? Arena and Zach.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about them.
So, Zach he's kind of fed up.
Yeah, because he told her, like, look, if you don't want to be with me,
just say it.
We don't have to even get back to where we are and try. It's just going to be over right here in Mexico.
And she said something about maybe we should just, if we have the opportunity, sit in separate seats. He's like, I got it even better. Why? Let's end this now.
Right, because I will be in a separate seat.
You can sit wherever you want to sit. He's like, if you're not attracted to me, say it. If But he's like, I'm tired of putting in the effort, and you're not putting in the effort.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, you're not putting in the effort. Well, no, you're not trying.
Right.
He was like, look,
He was like,
I'm just going to let you know. I'm calling you out.
He's like, he's a hostile witness. So I'm just shutting this down right now. We don't need to go any further.
Mm-mm.
Like this, I took offense that he said this is like being married for 10 years. No. Mm-mm. We've been married at our 10-year mark. We were not doing this at our 10-year mark. There was not pillows in between us. So I was offended. No. I was offended that he said this is what someone who's been married for 10 years. No, they don't. Because people who still are married at 10 years still love each other.
Right.
And this person doesn't care anything about you. It's about the physical attraction. And so
it's not, I don't even think it's that.
It's just not the right personality.
I think that, again, I think that she found someone so that she can move forward.
Mm.
I think it was to her a game. And when Bliss was winning,
mm-hmm.
she was doing the things that she could do so she could win Zach and therefore go to Mexico and hopefully just continue on. Because notice now, she's not the one that was asking for it to end. She was ready for it to continue, even though she wasn't going to put forth any effort. So for her, it was like, well, let me just go ahead and still get taping and still get my ego fed and everything done for these next few weeks. And I don't have to touch him. I don't have to kiss him. I can just continue to laugh and push him off. He was like, listen, I'm not down for that.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm glad he did. I'm glad he just didn't hang on. Because she's like, I'm surprised she stayed in as long as she did. He was like, because I was trying to think, hopefully, that there would have been some type of, based off of what he said, attraction that would grow.
Right.
So he says, sis is not. Let's go ahead and end it. And then she's like, are you thinking about Bliss? And da-da-da-da-da.
Don't matter.
He's like, it's about us. And right now,
it ain't us.
It ain't us. And then they start throwing little jabs back and forth, you know.
But he was giving the uppercut. He was like,
He said, yeah, I was thinking about Bliss the whole time. Like, I don't know why I chose you. Because he thought she was such a good person on the inside. I was like,
bruh.
Whatever, dude.
A blind man could see that she wasn't. So it ends season 5 or episode 5 around these parts ends with Zach at a coffee shop and in walks Bliss.
She kind. I'll be like, ha ha, told you.
And he's like,
I'd have been like, told you.
I made a mistake.
Told you.
You know I made a mistake. I know I made a mistake. Credits.
You're lost, dude. I'm telling you, I don't play that. I was like, hey, we all make mistakes and you're going to have to live with it.
So.
That happens.
So, we'll see what happens the rest of this. And again, we will, as they release them, we'll kind of see how we do the recaps, just because it's a lot to do 5 episodes at a time. But however they will release it, keep watching. Make sure you subscribe. And let us know what your thoughts are. As far as couples, so let's just even predictions now. Which couples you think are going forward well enough to end successfully at this stage?
Right now.
And it's early. We know that.
It's real early. But right now I'm going to go for Brett and Tiffany.
Yep.
And Kwame and Chelsea has a great opportunity. I'm on the fence about Marshall and Jackie because I don't know what's going on with her.
I think her issues may be a roadblock. So
that may cause a lot of problems since they're only known a couple of weeks. And then she's trying to plan a wedding. If she's already heavy and she haven't even planned her wedding yet or told her friends and stuff, I think it's just going to bring her stress level up to the roof. So we know Zach is over. I don't know. Bliss might still. She had some, time to be by herself.
Right.
So she met him. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I agree with you to the except for.
Oh, I don't think Paul and Micah.
Yeah, I don't think Paul and Micah is going to make it, but I don't think Kwame and Chelsea are going to move forward because I think Kwame is still despite what he says, I think he's still stuck on Micah. Because we saw in the clips in the trailer that they have more conversation. So I think that he'd rather pursue the fantasy of Micah than the reality of Chelsea.
I agree with that. I hear you.
That's it for this one. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.